Hello and welcome back to Action Sports Raw. My name is Thomas, and today we're going to be talking with a guest you might already know. Now, on January 12th of 2021, the first episode of Action Sports Raw was filmed. Now, the guest in that episode just announced that they were going to start their own skate school and move to London. You've probably already guessed who it is, Cath Shanks. She's back today to do a Where Are They Now episode so we can talk about what's happened working with Red Bull and Skateboard GB. Okay, well, nice to see you again. It's been a whole year. For the people, obviously it's been such a long time. Give us a bit of an update. Tell us a bit about you.
Well, it's, a couple of little things have happened. I've moved to London. I've set up my own business, and just global pandemic still. So
yeah. So, just quick update again. How'd you get started?
On the business.
No, in skateboarding.
Oh, in skateboarding. Oh, yes.
Just a quick reminder.
I wanted to skate for a very, very, very long time, but never really did. Finally went to a girls' night in Manchester in 2017 when I was like 22, and I went to one session at Skatepark, and I have literally never looked back. So, yeah.
Amazing. So, obviously, last time on the podcast, it was the first place you ever actually said it, actually. You were going to move to London and start, obviously, Shanko's. So, how did the move go?
Yes. Yeah, I forgot I let you in on the secret.
Yeah.
So, at the time of the podcast, it was kind of like a kind of pipe dream almost. It was like, I'll do a bit of coaching here and there, and I've called it Shankers and stuff like this, but like it's not like a limited company or anything, but I'm like fully fledged business now, so I have regular clients. I do work with brands, e.g. like I've done some stuff for Red Bull, I've gone out and done some festivals, like leading the skate coaching there, and some community events, and I've even run like a charity project. So it's going real well. I wasn't expecting it to kind of turn out like this. It would have been a nice kind of dream for the future, but in the space of 9 months, like I'm still doing a part-time job, but that's only because it's winter, so I need to make sure I've got some money coming in when it's wet, because we do live in England. But yeah, I moved to London, got settled in pretty quickly, and then I think maybe about 4 to 6 weeks after moving here, I started to, actually kind of put my name out there and try and get some sessions, and it's just kind of steadily built from there.
Yeah. How do you think that maybe would have gone if it wasn't affected by COVID?
Oh, good question, Tom. You always have good questions. I think half the reason I waited 4 to 6 weeks was because people were still a bit eerie about it. And I think it's been okay because like most of the work I do is outside. That's good and bad. It's good in terms of like I don't have to worry about like contact or anything like that because we're outside, we're breathing fresh air, and people aren't as worried about it. But then the other thing I was going to say, if like indoor skate parks, fuck me, just cut this bit out.
No worries.
I just remembered what I was going to say but the bad side of coaching outdoors is weather dependency. So
yeah.
But yeah, in terms of COVID, I actually think maybe I had a little bit of extra time to kind of sit inside and do some admin. But I did get COVID, and so I had 2 weeks off. And to be honest, I don't think I coached for like 5 weeks in total because I then got a chest infection and didn't recover too well. So I'd say the main way that COVID's affected it is me just having to have a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Made the most of what I've got. So
yeah, good. So obviously you said a minute ago you've been working with Red Bull and people like that. What is that? Why? How has that come about?
So, I mean, I'm a friend of the Red Bull family. They helped me with my physio, as you know, last year. And I basically helped before I moved in London. Some of my friends down here, they're also skate coaches, and Red Bull were looking for someone, and obviously I wasn't here, so I put my friends forward. And they've been building a really good relationship. So they get events, like they host girls' nights, they do, lots of stuff that's funded and supported by Red Bull. And so naturally, whenever they get a gig now, Shanker's called in. So the thing we did in summer, there was Red Bull Flight School. So if you become a student marketeer, which is like, a student representative for Red Bull, so each uni has one. Obviously Red Bull gives you wings. So they call it Flight School, where you kind of go for a few days and you get trained up. And this year we got to go and we taught every single one of their student marketeers how to skate. So
sick.
That was that.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, it was in like this church building, and I was
yeah.
It started raining, so I was teaching people how to skate down a Jesus corridor. It's honestly, I had to cover his eyes and ears because the language that went down probably wasn't the best. But, yeah.
And obviously, you recently got to go to the Sebastian Keep More Walls premiere.
Right. The original Walls video is hands down my favorite BMX video of all time, potentially one of my favorite Red Bull projects ever. And so I was looking forward to it. I knew that word was not quite out to the public yet, but word on the street was Walls 2 was coming, or More Walls as it's called. And Baz mentioned something on his story, just a date, and I was like, oh, is this Walls 2? And he was like, yeah, do you want to come? I was like, yeah. It was amazing. Like, that's probably the first time, I think, since COVID that I've been in a room full of all of my friends, because NAS has been cancelled twice. So all of my BMX mates, they're never all together. NAS is like the one like event of the year, and it's been cancelled 2 years in a row. So to go there and just be surrounded by all of, not only my mates within BMX, but all of the UK's best riders, like, I find it hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it was amazing. And yes, feel very lucky to be involved and part of the Red Bull family, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing. And obviously, the other year, we spoke about this on the first podcast.
Yeah.
You were a judge in the competition, weren't you, at Greystone?
Yes, yeah. I'm building up my portfolio now. Yeah, that was sick. Harry organised that with a little help, But it's really nice. I think more stuff's happening. I think on the surface, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, like on the surface, the athletes that Red Bull support are like elite athletes, like the best in the world. And sometimes that's all people see. Whereas when you kind of notice the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, unless you're part of it, you don't realize just how much work they do for the community and from the ground up. So I think that's my favorite thing, is because that competition I judged, that was for everyone. Like half my mates, because they were local skaters, they were skating in it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see that how a competition would work with a pandemic going around, because that was like right in the middle of it. It was really interesting to see that, stuff could go ahead if it were to stay that bad, and obviously now it's improved a bit. It was really cool.
I really liked that one for the fact that, there's a lot of virtual competitions that have taken place. Like that's how like 95% of competitions have gone over the pandemic. They've just like, oh, let's do it virtual. You film a clip, you upload it online. But like you say, it's a kind of a nicer way to run one where everyone feels a bit more involved, because instead of just going down to the skate park and filming some clips, they all did the same thing, and it still had an intensity to it. And it was awesome. I wouldn't mind. I don't want another pandemic, but I wouldn't mind doing that type of competition again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it would work in other sports as well. I was talking to with one of the guys at Greystone, whether they'd be interested in doing something like that again, but maybe with a different sport or something like that. It'd be really interesting to see.
Yeah, you might you get like indoor ski slopes and stuff like that. If you even if you could pick your features or something like that, where you get 6 features to pick from, you get to pick 3, and then you have to do a line on them. Oh mate, I could talk for hours about this sort of crap.
Please do. It makes a good podcast. And then another thing, obviously working with Skateboard GB recently.
Yeah, so the good thing is Skateboard GB is a thing. Skateboard is well, skateboarding is in the Olympics. So there's a big push. There's a bit of funding coming through. So what we're trying to do at the moment is we're going to try and help more people get into skateboarding, but to help people do that properly, well, there is no proper way. Some people say learn on the streets, but to help give people like a stepping stone, obviously some coaching can happen. I obviously have to say that that's my job.
Yeah.
believe-
Link in bio.
yes, I, I do believe that it's quite an important thing for some people. Like I wouldn't have been anywhere if it wasn't for my first few lessons, because it gave me that really good, deep understanding, and then I went
Yeah.
and did things on my own after that. But we had, I think there was at least like 13 coaches from around the UK. We all came together and we was talking about, you know, kind of what we do, what practices we do, if there's going to be some more, I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to tell you. If there's going to be like a deeper or higher level coaching courses. So, you know, like at the moment there's like a level 1 per se.
Yeah.
If it's the next level, what does it need to undertake? So we're discussing like coaching philosophies and what order you teach people in, and what would an advanced coach be? Would it be, you know, talking about how you learn skateboarding, or would it be just teaching the harder tricks, like going on to kick flips and heel flips and varial flips and, you know, back flips? Like, who knows? But it was just a big kind of conversation, because, you know, they're trying to help out. They're trying to see what us coaches would need, like for development reasons, but also what do they need to teach the next like generation of coaches. That makes me sound really old. I'm not old, but I have been teaching for 4 years already, so, you know, I was pre-Olympic, so I'm not the first generation of skateboard coaching, but I'm not the last either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were saying about funding. It was some point at this year that sheet was on, and everybody was sharing it on Instagram of how much money it was getting compared to other sports.
Oh,
what
yeah.
action sports was getting.
I wonder.
And it was something like 100 grand for skateboarding, and then there was like ones that were like millions and millions.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, see, this is where things could go wrong, because
Yeah.
part of the conversation we had at this meeting as well is that some people will just come into skateboarding now because there's money in it. The money's not here yet, but there will be money. I mean, as you can see, there's room for movement compared to all of the others. So
yeah,
we were trying to discuss, you know, like what you need to be able to do to be a proper skateboard coach, like a reliable skateboard coach. Because at the moment, the beginner's course, any Tom, Dick or Sally could come and do that and then get insurance to teach skateboarding, but they don't fundamentally understand it, and people could get hurt, because, you know, it's quite a dangerous thing if you do it wrong. So the funding, yes, we need more, but
yeah,
and there will be more, but they're just trying to figure out how to use it best. You know, there's still not a lot of money in skateboarding in general. Like professionals, very few make a living off of it individually. Quite a lot of pros, e.g. the UK pros, they have jobs on the side. It's sad, really, because it, just as much as any other sport, if not more, it is blood, sweat and tears. Like, that's what it. But it's passion. So skateboarding is a sport that you can never get really good at if you are not passionate, because to slam, as you understand, with WCMX, like, you take some hits and you get hit and hit and hit, but you want that trick so badly. You want to learn something new. You just want to do your best, that you will take it and you will keep taking it until you learn that new thing. And that's why it's, you know, I think that's why there's not a lot of money in it, because it's not easy for every person to take it up. I get, I bet there's so many people that are like, oh yeah, skateboarding is cool, I'm gonna do it, and then they go and try it and they're like, not.
Action sports is sort of interesting like that, because, you know, talking about, you know, I don't know, football, you don't need to hype yourself up and build all the courage to kick the ball halfway across the field. Obviously you have to do the training for it and stuff, but it's action sports is really different like that. It's really interesting.
Funny you mentioned football, because I literally played it for at least 8 years when I was younger, and it was my road. It was the path I thought I was going down. I was a
Yeah.
football coach. I was training. I was hopefully going to go out to America, and yeah, like you say, I trained a lot, and I loved it. I had the passion, but how often do you like absolutely body yourself when you do you know what I mean? If you get bodied, it's
Yeah.
someone else's fault, and then you have a paddy because they've tripped you up or something. But in and also in football, like you say, like people they fall and that would be it. They'd be like, oh no, my knee, I'm gonna have to rest for 6 weeks. Like literally, I know people, including myself, that have actually fractured something and not known because they're just used to the pain.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, going back to skateboard GB a moment, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, it was earlier this year when was it director CEO? I'm not sure what his title was. He went. Was it on Sky News where he talked about he preferred golf?
Yeah. So I've had to think about this because
Yeah.
as most people in the community were at first, we was like, what? Why come out with that? It's not just so quite a lot of us skaters and skate coaches, we're fighting to break down all the barriers. Like, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what race, it doesn't matter what your ability is or if you have got a disability or anything. Like, skateboarding welcomes you. And it was the quote, oh, I'm too old for that really got everyone like uproared. And I understand why, because my knee-jerk reaction was what the actual
Yep, same.
So I voiced some opinions on Instagram.
Yeah, I remember that's how I found out about it.
Yeah. So I've had time to think. I've actually had a conversation with James himself, because I did want to apologize, because he got way too much stick than he should ever have had, because at the end of the day he's working really hard to kind of try and help other people be able to make a living out of skateboarding. And he is at the pretty much the top level in UK. So kind of, in terms of brands and stuff, that's different, but like for progression and coaching and being on the Olympic team, like he's got a big say in it. And so he really is trying his best, and he's working hard for skateboarders in the UK. And everyone says things that it's not like they might not mean, but without thinking. And I just apologized. I was like, you do not deserve all of the stick you're getting. I tried to explain why. A lot of people would have been like the knee-jerk reaction like me. However, the sad thing is a lot of people were a bit more nasty in terms of, what I was mentioning earlier about is some coaches are doing it at the moment. People are training to be a skateboard coach and then setting up and doing one-to-one lessons because they know there's a bit of money in it. And that's what people in the skate community don't like. It's like, if you're going to work in skateboarding, you need to be passionate. And so because there was a golf comment and a not skating comment, everyone just went wild and was like, the exact opposite of skateboarding. He doesn't stand for skateboarding, blah 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 blah. So yes, very controversial. Still don't think it was the right thing to have said. However, I'm an adult. I work very hard within the community to try and help things. So we forgive and we forget. I don't think everyone has, but I am thankful for all of the work that James and the team does. So
yeah, as you said, obviously he's doing all this work for the Olympics and things like that, and I think that's why a lot of people were like, why? Because obviously if he's doing all that and really prefers golf, you can understand why people were annoyed.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
yeah, because it does make you question for a second, like why is he doing this job? But I did have a conversation with someone who will remain nameless. No more secrets, Thomas. But they were trying to make me understand that I think I can't like guarantee, but I'm pretty sure James is more of a business background.
Yeah.
he has the tools to help those people who love skateboarding, because the majority, if not everyone else on Skateboard GB, are skateboarders. So he can help them make what they want to make happen. So, there's got to be, unless you have like a skateboarder that's got, a master's in all of this stuff that they need, and they're all, what do you call them when they're not professors, but you know what I mean? When someone studied, oh,
God.
the word's gone. It's like, anyways, yeah, unless you've got someone who kind of knows their stuff and is a skater, which, some skaters are really clever and have really well higher paying jobs and stuff, but most of us just kind of work to skate. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I come around to kind of accept it and be like, well, why is he involved? Well, it's like, well, maybe he just wants to help support the community because he sees how amazing skateboard is and how it changes people's lives, and he just wants to help it go even further. So that's where I stand, I think.
Okay. Right, well, my next question. I recently watched a show called Betty. It was based around skateboarding in New York. What do you think about skateboarding in TV and film?
Oh, interesting. I've not seen Betty yet. Like that, is that?
It's a bit odd. It's on Sky. It's a bit odd though.
I think it might be the new one. So they did maybe a few years ago now, because we had the premiere in Manchester, and the girls in the film Skate Kitchen, they came to the Projects Park as well. I think it's to do with them, but yeah, it's not my my favorite ever skate film. And I mean, like, actual film that has a skateboarding story, not skate films like Burns Brigade and the Danny Way story and stuff like that. Like, obviously they trump actual films every time. But genuinely, my favorite ever film that includes skateboarding is MVP 2. Do you know the one?
No.
It's about a skateboarding chimp. Right. And you're probably like, okay, what on earth are you talking about? But it has more of the values. So basically, long story short, it's about a kid that's run away because they're in between families. I think they're in foster care. And the chimp was a professional. This is going to sound weird. The chimp was a professional hockey player, but he ran away from the kid. And then the kid loved skating. So, the guy at the skate shop, he used to leave things out in the bin in back because the kid couldn't afford, new skate stuff, and he wanted to enter a competition. And then the chimp started skating with him, and it was all right, I get it. You should watch it. You should watch it. It's most special primate too, right?
Okay.
So, moral of the story, that has skateboarding's core values more other actual skateboarding based films that I've watched. Because I've not seen Betty. I've seen Skate Kitchen, and it was pretty cool. I can't remember it like outright, but I remember there was things about it that I was like, oh, okay. I remember Rachel, the main one that was with the boy, like she was skating with the lads, and then there was a little girl group and they kind of fell out, I think. Too much politics, basically. And then, have you seen Mid-90s? That came out a while ago. I also went to the premiere of that in Manchester.
Nope.
That was weird. Honestly, I think most big skate films, like if they're core skateboarding storylines, I mean, please send me links if anyone has any to better films. But the ones I've seen, they're all very indie, so they're all small and independent, and none of them have been that, memorable.
Okay, so I've got to ask you. I think when I was thinking when I wrote the question.
Yeah.
By the way, if you think the questions are a bit, that's because I wrote them all at 4 a.m.
Oh, mate, go for it.
So the one I was thinking of, like the biggest film I could think of with skateboarding featured in it was Spider-Man. The one with Andrew Garfield.
So I do know what you're talking about, but I've not seen it.
Have you not? The guy who does the skateboarding in it is really cool. I know who he is. He's an actual skater, and he's pretty sick. He does like parkour skating, but he does it in one. I saw a video of him. He did like I've seen this video. And he was riding the skateboard, jumped off the stair set, and then landing on another skateboard.
Oh,
He did like a front flip down. It was in a I can't think of his name. It's Jimmy the Giant video. It was in one of his videos.
follow Jimmy.
What?
Do you follow Jimmy?
Yeah, I started watching him because you shared one of his videos once on your Instagram.
Well, let him know that because he is Greg's best friend. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah, I know Jimmy. I actually think his videos are amazing. Like you said, storytelling, all the different action sports. Do you know what? Do you want me to put him in touch so you can talk about WCMX?
Go on
All right. I can't promise he'll want to do a video, but I'm sure he'll be very interested. So
yeah.
Sound. Anyways, what was the question?
Yeah. What did you think of it? And obviously you hadn't seen it. And
yeah, I haven't seen it. Sorry.
No worries. And then going back to Betty, it was really weird. I think throughout the show, because they've done 2 seasons, I believe. I watched the first episode, thought this is odd, and then thought I'll watch both seasons.
Okay.
It was really weird. I'll not lie. So like the first episode, it slowly got less focused around skateboarding over time.
Yeah.
It would be like the first episode was really skateboard focused, like most of the episode.
Yeah.
And then over time it got less and less, and then every so often there'd be an episode that was really focused, and then less focused, and then more focused. And
yeah, I feel like it's hard to write a narrative about skateboarding because skateboarding is skateboarding. It's unpredictable. It's just mates having a laugh. Whereas to sell a series or a film, you need a storyline. And yes, of course, like people's lives are storylines, but you can't tell the story of a life like if you're trying to make up a story. Like, and I think that's is because it's so core. Like people will be like, oh yeah, I love skating, I love what it's about, I love like this and this, and then they'll sit down to try and tell that story, and they'll just to the public that'll just be like, oh, I don't get it. Whereas if you know what it feels like, you get it. But to actually sell a series or a film to the public, there's going to need to be more, and I think that's where it gets lost. That's why my favorite thing to watch in terms of skating is either MVP2 or I'll actually just watch skateboarding documentaries. So like I said, Bernard's Brigade, any like just the little videos as well. Nora Vasconcelos and Alexis Sablon just put out a little thing with Crooks. It was like a 45-minute video of them talking and skating, and I was like, well, this is all I need. I don't need some fiction made up skateboarding film. Like this is it, So.
Yeah, I totally agree. They thought we need to add something. It's sort of like Grey's Anatomy, right? Core base, it's a doctor's show.
Yeah.
Well, people aren't that interested if we did surgery last week. Yeah. So they have to add that they're all having sex with each other, and they added that to this as well. So in Betty, they're always on drugs.
Yeah.
Always having sex with each other.
Yeah.
The main character, really weird. If someone who skates was on the production, it's like really confusing. So the main girl, she just always is just like, yeah, bro, no, bro, no, bro, yeah, bro, no, bro. She just sort of talks like that, like for the whole show. And then occasionally she'll have like actual words come out of her mouth, and it'll be like, yo, bro, no, bro, yeah, bro. Like that's how she talks for the whole show. So I don't think they really understood people who skate. That's why I was interested to see if there was somebody actually like on the production that skated.
Yeah, I know that too. Have you watched the Borders documentary? That's just come into my head.
Yes. Yeah, it was amazing. I watched it. It's free on Amazon Prime.
Yes, exactly.
So I watched it.
Another good example of how things should be done.
Yeah.
As like you said, they tell the story. So that's the thing about mid-90s, right? It's about this kid who skates with bigger kids. And you know what? I was really enjoying it. Like I was. And then I swear to God, this kid's like 14. And then guess what? A girl comes into the picture.
Yeah.
And she's way older than she should have been. And I actually, like halfway through the film, I was like, I can't watch this. This is actually painful to watch. Like I actually almost thought about leaving the cinema because I was like, this is wrong. This is categorically wrong. Like, why do you need to add this into the story? Like,
Yeah.
at least put someone their own age, or just have the person cast a bit older. I was just like,
Yeah.
it seemed like a really good core skateboarding film, and then they just ruined it halfway through. And maybe they were trying to tell some sort of message, but I'm not a 13-year-old boy, so I don't know. But the worst thing was, I was invited to the premiere to do an interview afterwards, and I was like, how do I talk about the good things when I am scarred mentally?
No, yeah, I think for me, Borders has got to be up there. Like, I watched that in my lounge with my parents, and they both thoroughly enjoyed it.
Sick.
And it's like, that's how you know you've made a good skate film.
Yes.
When people who aren't as into skateboarding
Yeah.
sort of understand it, but not that into it,
Yeah.
can watch it and go, oh, that was really good, yeah.
And
Yeah.
one, because obviously I know your parents that they will like, is the Danny Way one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about Danny Way, his journey. That's well interesting. And
Is it?
have you seen Pretending I'm a Superman?
No.
So that's the Tony Hawk story, about the video games and how, and it basically tells the whole skate history. Like, you know, it started off in backyard pools, and then vert become a thing, and then vert died, and then they started skating street and stuff like that. But it's just really interesting. I think you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I think what we've got out of this, especially from that one you were talking about before, don't love women, love skateboarding. Um,
Well,
right.
just stick to skateboarding and have your personal life separate. That's all.
Yeah.
That is all.
Um,
I love skateboarding more than I love my partner. So,
okay.
being honest, it's a lot. It's a lot. That's a good I mean, I love him a lot, but I also love skateboarding a lot.
Yeah.
Skateboard.
You can cut that if you want. Otherwise, you might be in the doghouse. You might be sleeping on the couch for the rest of the year.
Help.
I've got to ask you, because I was asked this when I was on Radio 1, about, like, what's your favourite, like, hype song, I guess, when you're scared to do something and you need to sort of get yourself going. What's your hype song? Because the woman at Radio 1, Charlie Hedges, lovely woman, she came to my house, she sat on my couch behind me, and we stopped after the radio, and she stayed for like an extra hour just talking, and she asked me if I would put the Elton John Ed Sheeran song on my, like, hype song playlist, I guess you'd call it.
Okay.
And I responded, God no. Why would I want Elton John and Ed Sheeran's Christmas song?
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you need to get yourself going for a trick, what are you listening to?
Well, I will tell you in 1 second, but this actually, it switches right back into what we were just talking about, because it's off a film that isn't a skateboarding film, it's a snowboarding film. And they do add a love story in, but it's about a girl that used to skate, and then she goes away and learns to snowboard. She obviously falls in love, but she...
Talking about a snowboard film.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a good film because, yeah, there's a love story in it, but she loved skateboarding. Her mum died in a car crash, so she literally didn't skate. It was on the way home from a skate contest, so she didn't skate again. And then she moved out to a ski chalet, and then in her free time, she decided to learn to snowboard, and it is really motivational. So there's a song that they play when she's dropping in, because she decides to enter a contest, because obviously she picks up snowboarding really well. And so when she's doing her final run in the contest of the snowboarding, they play this song, and it's called Go by Livingston, and it just hits me straight in the feels. It makes me feel like I can do whatever I want to do. Like, you know, it just makes me feel excited about skateboarding, because it's just one of them songs. And it's actually because of that film, which actually is like a chick flick film, but it involves learning to snowboard. So yeah, that is my song, and that is at the top of every single skate playlist.
Sick. Okay. I got another question. It's a bit more deep than the music one.
Ooh.
So obviously you started skate school and stuff like that. Where do you see that going? Where do you see your career going?
If I'm being completely honest, I don't know. I know basically in one word or four letters, ADHD, right? I get hyper focus. I love what I do, and then sometimes I fall out of love with it, or I move on to something else because something else really excites me. There's a deep underlying passion for skateboarding, so I'll never fall out of love with skateboarding. However, there might come a time where I'm just like, maybe teaching's not for me anymore, but it's not anytime soon, as far as I'm aware. Obviously you never know, but I think at the moment teaching is a way to kind of give back to the community, and that's what I want to do. I love skateboarding. I love everything it's done to my life, and I want to help others discover it and help them take their first steps on the board, help them find the confidence to go into the skate park. And at the moment that's through teaching, and I think the natural progression to get into that was because I used to teach football, and I love football, I love skateboarding, so now I teach skateboarding because it is just a dream job. But potentially somewhere down the line there might be another way that I can do that and support the community. And I don't know, my body's a mess. Oh, cat's moving. Oh, it's all right. So I don't know, my ankle's still not very good, so sometimes I can't teach properly, I can't demonstrate. Don't know how long until my body falls apart. I'm still very much loving coaching, but there might be an opportunity coming up soon, which is another way that I can help the community. It's a semi-secret at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm working with a brand, not Red Bull, by the way. Don't be spreading any rumors. I'm working with an amazing brand, actually, that is one of the dream to work with, and we're working on a project to kind of help support women in the industry from the ground upwards. So that's going on in the background. That will potentially soon become like a part-time on the side of coaching, and then depending on how well it goes, that might be the avenue I take. But there'll still be elements of coaching and sessions and stuff in there, so I won't just throw Shankers off to the side, but I might coach through them. But one thing I definitely want to do in the future is I want to kind of, whether it stays just a coaching service or whether it becomes like a charity, Shankers, because one of the best things I did was, I think it was about 2 months ago, I ran a charity project for a full weekend, and it was like leadership skills, art and creativity, and it was for disabled and disadvantaged young women in the area. And that it seems selfish. I did that for me because it felt so amazing to help people with skateboarding, so it will be in the vicinity of my career for a very long time, but I don't know if me physically coaching will last forever. So
if you were to stop teaching, would you see yourself going into the more organization and sort of judging sort of side?
I would like to stay in the community for as long as possible. So I really enjoyed judging. I have a lot of experience in skateboarding in ways that other people don't. There's millions of people out there that are way better skateboarders and have been skating for 10 times longer than me, but they've not done what I've done in terms of skating and coaching, and stuff like that. So I'd like to think my opinion is quite valuable, especially in the growing coaching in the UK. So I think I'm excited to be a part of the development of the GB stuff. But yeah, I think I would like to stay in skateboarding, unless my next hobby comes along and I become a quad biker or something. Something that requires less actual skill. And no, I'm not saying it's not skill.
No. Okay.
I mean like dexterity. So like, I was a football and you had to coordinate all your limbs, like I did headers and stuff like that. Now I'm a skateboarder, way harder than you think it is, but I love it. But my body's slightly falling apart. So if I can, use two hands to steer, and you don't even, oh no, you do, you go like that, don't you? Cut that bit out. But
this is going on the Clips channel.
Shit.
Cath Shanks hates quad biters.
No, I didn't mean skill. I mean like fine motor movements, right?
Yeah.
If I can do something where I don't have to use as much physical effort, I started learning to drum, but that is also a workout, you know. But I do that. I go from thing to thing, and I get really passionate about things. And again, like
Yeah.
skateboarding will always have a place in my heart, but you never know. I might learn to snowboard and go to a ski chalet and win a competition, and then, you know, fall in love. Oh, that
And then you just have to make a film.
exactly. That film's called Chalet Girl, by the way, if you want to watch it.
Okay.
Probably cringe
All right.
because it is a love story.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you. So usually on the podcast, I talk about different skate parks around the country, and I get people's opinion. It's the UK skate park tier list. But I thought, as you've moved to London, let's talk about London skate parks. Some of them I know you've definitely been to because I nicked them off your Instagram.
Yes.
Where you've geotagged it, and then some of them I don't know if you have been to. So let's start off Bay 66.
Ooh. Now, it might not be popular opinion on this one. It
Okay.
is slippy. It is so slippy, and it's big and it's massive. And I like small, intricate little parks where you can basically do a little line around the whole thing. You know, it's back to back to back to back to back. Whereas Bay 66 is huge. You've been now, haven't you?
I have. I went the other week.
So you know where there's like the bank down, and then you go over a box, and then there's a massive court at the end. What are you supposed to do in the middle of there? It's just speed, speed, speed. You know, you can probably clear the box or whatever, and then you hit a 13 quarter pipe. Like, you know, it really. How many people skate that? There is some fun parts, don't get me wrong. Like on the opposite side, there's all like, you know, there's the spine, there's the thing in the middle, but again, it's massive. Like, I don't know how many skateboarders like to skate stuff that big. So not me anyway. And the bowl's slippy, and the coping is too fat on the mini ramp. I adore Bay 66 for the girls' work they do. They host really good girls' nights and events, and they've got a good community. Personally, not really up there. I've been once and I haven't been back.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Bay 66.
I went the other week, and I mean it was okay. I have to say, the coping in the area I was with a guy called Marcus. He started WCMX recently.
Nice.
And I taught him how to drop in. And the coping for WCMX, so usually when you're dropping in, you go in the manual, you go up to the edge till you can feel the coping, and you're right, yeah, I'm at the edge, and then you can push over. Yeah. You can't feel it at all on most of the ramps we looked at.
Yeah,
you can't feel it. You get to the edge and you're just sort of like, guess I'm at the edge, I'll go.
Yeah.
So yeah, the coping's a bit, and it's so inconsistent from different parts of the park. Like, you expect it to be slightly different if obviously it's hand built, but like the amount of difference. Like there was one where it was really good and it like stuck out a chunk, and then some of it was like, that's flat. You might as well not put it there.
So the worst thing for skaters, and I feel like for you too, is if the coping's fat on the way up the ramp. So like, say this is the coping, this is the ramp. If it's flat this way and flat on top, where what we want it like this. So it's fat on top so you can lock into it and you can feel it and stuff like that. But then it doesn't bump you out on the way up the ramp. That's a nice coping. But at Bay 66, that is exactly it. They're fat on the way up, which is what you don't want, and you can't feel it on the top. So if you get too much speed and you're locking into an axle, you just roll on to the top of the ramp because there's nothing to stop you. It's not ideal. But I remember actually when we were at projects and we was trying to drop in on the pull coping, it's the same as that, isn't it? You can't feel where you are, and it's, you know, it's about feeling and touch feedback and stuff like that. So not my favorite.
No. Okay, so another one. I've never rode it myself. I've walked past many times, and there's not a lot there for a lot. Like, it's very, I would say, from my opinion, it's a bit overhyped. South Bank.
South Bank should be called Steep Bank. So, the community is amazing. I've only been once, and it's, you know, been with a dodgy ankle, so I had a bit of a skate. I actually went to just take some photos for my friend. I feel like it's a very core street. It's a street skaters park because it's
Yeah.
that, you know, there's one quarter pipe and it's like the steepest quarter pipe in the world, and it's not got a curb in. The banks, you know, well, it's called South Bank, but again, it should be Steve Bank or Sketchy Bank. But the
Or shit bank.
yeah, I don't want to shit on the history because it is amazing, and the actual skateboarding, like I said, that stuff that goes down there is amazing. But again, personally, as a skater, not my cup of tea. I do want to go back when my ankle's a bit better and actually have a proper sesh, because I did like try and push myself a little bit, and I really enjoyed it, because like once you get used to like hitting a wall and going up these steep banks, you get used to it, and then you start to think, oh well, I know how to do this now. And I do want to go and have like a bit of fun there, but you know, I'm unlimited resources at the moment.
Yeah, the main thing there is just the stair set, which is great for street skaters.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of there, and obviously the community is, I mean, the community's in love with it.
Yes.
It was talked about. I don't know if you've been. I think it's shut now, but the skate thing at Somerset House.
Yeah, I didn't manage to go myself, but yeah, I heard about it. And yes, skate. South Bank is it's legendary in the community, and
yeah,
long live it, as the Instagram handle goes, long live South Bank. But yeah, like I say, it's for certain types of skaters, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, it was actually really nice, the place in Somerset House, and then it had the Vans like pop-up skate park thing outside as well.
Did you get to skate?
That's pretty cool. I never rode it. I went there,
and
I like didn't have my helmet, but I was like, I'll just do a little thing around there, and then there was fucking nothing there. There was literally nothing. It was like there was one box. A bit of like a pole thing. And then I don't think you can really call it a ramp.
The barrier.
And then that was in like it's like someone just brought a few bricks to a car park and then put a railing around.
One word to describe that skate park for you. Art. That's the reason it was the way it was, because it wasn't a skate park for people to skate. It was all about artsiness. I do feel like as a skateboarder, I would have loved to have had a go, but definitely from your point of view, there was nothing there.
Yeah. It was like really nice, and they'd done it up well, and it looked really cool, but there wasn't terribly much to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll get on to the next one, and I have been to this one, and I've actually spoken with the guys who built it, Freestyle. I have a podcast with the director, I guess you'd call him, and I got home and it was corrupt, and I emailed him, and then he never emailed me back.
Oh, what?
So if you see this, Chris, please email me back. The file got corrupt. I'd love to do another one. You've got a really nice skate park.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've guessed which park I'm talking about. I'm talking about Oxhay in Watford.
No, I knew he was going to say that. I haven't been yet. That is top of my go-to list.
It's amazing.
I know. Don't, because I've literally like every day I'm like I want to go, because it's like an hour each way for me, but obviously that's nothing compared to you. But it's like there's a battle in my brain. I know that if I go to a nice skate park, I am going to ruin myself because I get too excited. I won't listen to my ankle and I'll body myself. So I'm waiting for the right time, because I want to go and I want to have a sesh. I don't just want to have a roll around. I want to go hard. So
it's really nice though, because I mean, if I remember the figure, I think it was over 6 million was how much they spent on it, which is a mad amount for a skate park.
Yeah.
And they like the main like bowl area is amazing. The pump track around the edge, then the big quarter for the carve at the back once you've built up the speed, and then the bowl in the middle. So people would go around the edge, and then they would just last second turn into the bowl, and then they would flow down. It's sort of like a snake run, and then they could get back out and keep going.
Oh no!
Like honestly, amazing. And then like the mega jump box thing has like a roller in the middle if you're into that as well. The street area, the warm up area, and the great thing, they have like a young kid pump track, which means all the kids on their 3-wheel scooters that don't know how to turn can stay on there because they want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to come over there,
Nice.
which is great. So you never end up having tons of kids everywhere.
Nice.
Then there's like a really chill little warm-up area, and then there's like minis and like a sort of like they've gone. We can't fit a vert. We want something a bit more than a mini.
Yeah.
Stick it together. But that's actually really cool at the back. And then there's the street area as well. It's actually really nice around there.
Yeah. Now I really want to go. Thanks. No,
to be fair, it's really good, and the cafe's great as well.
Right. All right. I'll let you know when I've been.
It's actually another thing. It's just next to is it Bushy or something? It's called this train station that's literally like right next to it, which is really cool too. So it's like super easy to get to.
Oh, sweet. Well, I will let you know when I've been. I might even send you a little clip.
Okay.
Probably me lying on the floor crying because I've broken my ankle again.
Okay. Another one. House of Vans.
I have skated it a couple of times. I had the skateboard GB thing there, but I didn't take my board on purpose because of my ankle, because I would skate it. The bowl is lovely. The top part, the shallow end of the bowl is deceptively steep and whippy and tight, but it's fun. It is really fun. And then the street section, it's got the mini, it's got the bigger mini, the little mini, and that's quite whippy because they've got to fit it all into underneath a railway tunnel. And then the street section, they've added to it quite a lot, and it's really good. Do you know what? It's nice. It's undercover. They've got something for everyone, I think, because there's lots of flat ground. Yeah, do you know what? I can't really say much bad about it. Just it's small, so each section maximum 2 people. Otherwise, it feels absolutely packed.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing is like it's a bit small, so you don't want to go on a busy day. But apart from that, I like it. It's good.
What do you think of like the little cafe thing?
Yeah, do you know they've got everything there? To be fair, I went to an event once, and there was like a proper event on, and they had live music in the next tunnel. Do you know what I mean? There was so much going on, and they've got it going on. But then again, it's Vans, and Vans are amazing. So what you're wearing the t-shirt, mate?
I am.
So
yeah.
Yes, yeah, I love it. I'd put it so far definitely top of the list. But then again, the last few reviews weren't exactly raving.
Because they have like 6 tunnels, right? Because they have like the entrance and then like a museum thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the cinema.
Yeah.
The performance room.
Yeah.
The cafe, and then the 2 skate rooms.
Yes.
I saw a video of when they were doing it up. It was really cool because they were like getting all the mold off and stuff. It's really cool. And then actually, I don't actually have this one written down, but it made me think of it. It's pretty much next door, Hop King.
Oh, good shout. I was wondering if this one would come up. So I have been to Hop King, and do you know what? Again, same comments. Love it. It's got like a few bits, obviously, but Hopkins even smaller.
Yeah, they've only got 2 tunnels, one for the bar, one for the skate.
Yes. And the bar literally has a mini ramp in it, and the other one is like one small section of one of the tunnels in House of Vans. Like their tunnel is half the length of House of Vans, so it's like a quarter of House of Vans skate area, and then a mini ramp. But what they have is cute. It's like I say, it's small. I think they've got a four set, a ledge, a hubber. They've got like a vert brick quarter, a couple of different sized quarter pipes. The tiny one is so tiny, it's almost too tiny. Like when I like really small quarter pipes to learn stuff on, because you can just play around and just you commit to anything you want because it's so small, it doesn't matter if you fall off. But that one's like too small.
Yeah. So that's the problem with some of them, because they're so sharp, you can't really do anything with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. I'd put it second after House of Vans. I don't want to put Oxhair on the list because I feel like it would be up there if I'd have been, but I can't really fully vouch for it.
Okay. I've got to ask as well. No, not ask. I want to say.
Yeah.
it's like what they're doing for the community because they've sponsored so many cool people.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is really cool as well, which I think is pretty sick.
Yeah,
Interesting to see what they do.
yeah, I really rate it. So the first time I went to a beginner's night. And it was Go Skate Day. So it was National Skateboarding Day, whatever you want to call it, 21st of June. And I was actually going to skate a different ramp, but I needed to go and pick up something from someone that was skating there. So I was like, you know what, I'll pay in, I'll have a quick skate. And everything about it was lovely. Like, you pay a £5 to get in and you get a free drink. So, you know, I had a cheeky pint. The beer they have is nice as well. So like, they make their own beer, obviously, and it's nice. And the community there is nice. The skate park is nice. And like you said, they're supporting skaters. And I can't complain about them. I just wish it was bigger. So
Yeah. Cool. Right, next one. I was searching because I don't know that many. Most of these I'd heard of.
Yeah.
Except for this one. I just Googled Skateparks London and it came up. ROM.
Oh, well, that's
Never heard of it before.
So ROM, I think you'd like, actually. It's very accessible because it is basically just loads of concrete bumps. It's like a bike version of Hackney bumps, right?
Okay.
And the reason I say bike is because it's a lot bigger and I've gone to try and skate there, and you need the softest wheels in the world if you're a skater, because it is bumpy as shit. It's not like skate park concrete. It's protected. It's a heritage like thing. Like, you're not allowed to adapt it or repair anything because it's protected by some charity somewhere. And I can't say too much, actually, because I know some inside information about some dealings that are going on at the moment. So their community, the bike community is great. The skate community, I don't think is so great. But then again, it's not a skate park that, you know, skaters will flock to, because you have to basically be riding the soft. You have to be like on a longboard, but that's short.
Okay.
But it's good. It's got loads of different like aspects. It's got like a bowl with a jump box in the middle. It's got a really deep, steep pull run. It's got a deep, big bowl. It's got, you know, a launch ramp into one of them. But it's for big wheels. That's why I think you'd like.
Yeah.
It's not for small wheels. So
I'll have to take off my 101As then on the front.
yeah, get some softies on there.
Throw on a scooter wheel.
Oh, do you know what? It'd work. Just make sure it's a soft one though, because you'll still feel the.
Yeah. Right. So these two I took off your Instagram because I saw you were at them.
Yeah.
Victoria Skate Park, which is really weird because when I googled it, there was like 3 websites, and then one of they all called it a different thing. One was Victoria Park Skate Park.
Yeah.
The other one was Victoria Skate Park, and then the other one was something else entirely, and it was all the same one.
Yes. So I think now what we call it is Victoria Park Reamers Skate Park. So
Okay.
it's been kind of renamed after Ben Reamers. You know Ben Reamers?
No.
No. So, well, he was a professional skateboarder from the UK, from London, that unfortunately took his life a few years ago, and that was one of his locals. So I can't even think of the word. In the bowl thing, the big circle that overarches.
Oh yeah.
There's a name for it, but I can't think.
There is.
His silhouette is painted in there because it's like dedicated to him. So that's what I refer to it as. It's Ben Reamers Park Skate Park, Victoria Park Skate Park, along those lines. So that is primarily where I teach. I like it. There's good aspects and bad aspects. It's got one of the biggest bowls I've seen in the UK, which I'm very grateful for, because until I went there, I'd never really skated a proper bowl because it was 10 times the size of anything else I've seen. Then that's pretty much all it's got. It's got a little quarter and a weird thing to carve and a few ledges, but I prefer like wacky weird things, and there's just, I don't know, it's not a skate park where I'm just like, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna go skate there today. There's other parks
Yeah.
in the area that I'd rather do that, but I teach there, and if I wanted to skate ball, then I'd go there 100%. But yeah, it's a very good skate park. There's a really good community there, and again, it ranges from skateboarding. There's quad skaters. There's a lot of BMXers. You don't really get any scooters there, which I'm not complaining about. But yeah, there's a good community there between all of the disciplines. So yeah.
Best thing about action sports: equal hatred for scooter riders.
Yeah.
Next skate park, Can Hall.
Oh, I do. It has a special place in my heart. Right. I moved here before it was even a thing. Like, there was an old skate park that I never got to see, but the new one, it actually opened on the day lockdown lifted, or the restrictions were eased. I think it was the 19th of July. I only know that because when you ring the hospital, it tells you since restrictions are eased. So yeah, the day that the shops opened again is the day that park got opened, and it's smooth as anything. It's got quite a few different bits, and I think I like it more because I teach there, and I really enjoy teaching people there, because there's a wall ride that I like, and it's quite quirky. I do really like Can Hall. Yes, it's a good park.
Perfect.
It's quite small though.
Yeah.
But never mind.
So out of all the ones we've talked about there, Bay 66, South Bank, Oxhay, House of Vans, Rom, Ben Rima, Victoria 1, and Can Hall, what's top, what's bottom?
Okay. So I'm going to go... there's so many different angles. Okay, so just if I wasn't to think about it, I'd say Victoria, Can, House of Vans. Then I'd put Oxhay in there. I'd put that higher I'd probably put it higher if I'd been there.
Yeah.
But then, because I know what the other three are like, and I know that I'm not necessarily like them. So then I'm gonna say Bay 66, South Bank, and this is no offense to Rom, but I'm gonna put Rom last just because I can't skate there. Like, it's too bumpy. Yes, the other two that I'm not a fan of. Oh wait, I forgot Hop Kingdom. Put that.
Oh yes, Hop King.
Put that third. Actually.
Third?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But to be honest, I'm in a different mood each day. So like, if I fancy in transition, then it might change. But I think Victoria and Can Hall I've been teaching at, so I have a special place in my heart. Just need to shout out Hackney Bumps though. If you haven't seen or been, then you should. It's really nice. I'll
have to remember that.
They keep adding more to it as well. It's a DIY that's built on some historical bumps that they basically made into a skate park. But it's amazing. And it's accessible. So
sick. I'll have to check that out next time I'm down there. So usually here on Action Sports for All, we go into trivia and we talk a bit about you. And I dig through Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I see how well you know yourself. But I thought we've already done that.
Yeah.
And I had a look through, and there was I've sort of done everything, and I noticed half of your Instagram's gone.
Yes. Yeah. I go through phases, and I like to just clear out of things that I don't think are relevant or people don't need to know. So I've actually started not really uploading main post content unless it's a big thing, and then every so often, I literally did one earlier, I'll just do a dump of 10, well, maximum 10 just photos of the past few weeks or whatever. So I literally just put one up because I've been to see 4 family members in the past 2 weeks. So I just put on a couple of photos up from each of them, and was I've not put a post in a while, so I'll just put it out there, let people know what I've been up to, and that's it. And the other reason is, I want banging skate clips. I've not been able to skate for ages, so I don't really want to be boring everyone with the boring stuff. So
yeah,
I will post more actual content when I'm skateboarding.
Yeah. So I thought, as we can't really do that, and it is. Oh, sorry, just one sec. I'll cut this. This is going up on Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna be saying it's Christmas Eve.
Yes.
As it's Christmas Eve, I thought we'll do a little action sports for all Christmas game instead.
Yes.
So we have a few questions, and then we have a quiz. I've only done a few because I thought, honestly, I had like a few going. Like I was thinking about like what's Christmas related. And I was looking like Christmas Day specials.
Yeah.
So I was looking at things, and you can't. There's not like a most viewed one because one's the most Christmas viewed scripted special, and the most this and that. So they can all say they're number one. So I was like, oh, because they all want to be the number one Christmas this. So I've only done 3. But I think they're pretty good questions. So we'll start off with the questions for the quiz.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Christmas song?
Straight off the bat, Pugs. The Pugs.
Yeah.
Paris Hill, New York. I just love it when the that kicks in and you just want to get up and dance. Like I love Christmas. I love all Christmas music, but I think that one just makes me want to get up and dance and sing. So
okay. Well, that may help you later in the quiz. We do have a few music related questions. So what's the worst Christmas present you've ever got? And if it won't put you in too much trouble, who gave it to you?
I tell you what, right? I can't remember an actual, like, something where I remember being like, oh my God, what is this? But along the same lines, so I did get, it was a present for me, but it was lingering with disappointment. So when I was young, we used to have stockings, and we'd have a massive stocking, and Mum would buy us all, little bits of sweets and like, toiletries and shit like that, and she'd fill it right up. And then I think I must have been about 12 or 11 or 12, I reckon. And she'd filled it up, and I remember us opening them all, and Mum's like, oh, Kath, one of yours is missing. Because, and she spent ages looking for it. And then about, she kept reminding me, she was like, oh no, you still got one more. So I was like, oh my God, what's this present she's talking about? And then about 2 weeks later, she finds it down the back of the sofa or something. And it's not even something I like.
It's like, avocado, thanks.
It was like this flumpy sweet lolly. When they're just trying to put too much sweets onto something, and it's like, then it was 2 weeks old, so like the marshmallow had gone hard. And it just, I'm a chocolate person, not a weird sweet lolly person. And it was disappointing because she found it. And the reason she knew I didn't have it, because everyone else got one apart from me. And I wish she'd have told me that, because I'd been like, Mum, I'm not bothered about it. But she proceeded to, carry on looking for it. And then she finally found it, got me excited, and I didn't like it. Mum, I'm sorry.
The expectations were built so high.
Exactly. I'd rather just not known. So.
Okay. Let's get into the quiz then.
Yes.
So, what is the longest number one onto the top of the charts Christmas song in the UK? Can you guess it? I have ABCs.
Okay. Yeah, ABC then, go on.
Okay. So is it A, Mr. Blobby with the song Mr. Blobby? Is it B, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You? Or C, Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas? What was at the top of the charts for the longest as a Christmas song?
Yes, so I actually think, I could be completely wrong, but I think it's Whitney Houston, because I seem to remember someone asking it before and then someone being like, that's not a Christmas song, but it's technically Christmas. It charts at Christmas. Is that wrong or is that right?
But is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Okay. It was not Mr. Blobby with Mr. Blobby. He had 3 weeks at the top. And it was not Band-Aid, who had 5. It was Whitney Houston with 10 weeks at the top of the charts.
Nice. Knew it.
Little Christmas fun fact about this. One of the most popular Christmas songs ever, Last Christmas, never was a Christmas number one.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, so 36 years after the release last year, it did get Christmas number one, but it was just it didn't get Christmas number one, sorry.
Oh.
It got number one, but it was just slightly too late for Christmas. So the song has never hit Christmas number one.
Devastating.
Yeah, I know Wham and like George Michael fans were really trying to get it to number one.
Yeah.
In 2017, because it was the year after George Michael died.
Yeah.
And they didn't succeed with that either. So it'll be interesting to see if it ever does get Christmas number one.
Maybe.
Little fun fact there for you.
Thank you.
I was thinking, Santa is called different things around the world. For instance, the general name for him is Santa Claus. Here in the UK, we have Father Christmas.
Yes.
But what do they call him around the world? So I thought, what's the weirdest one? So I went searching.
Yeah.
And I thought, Russia. They have odd names for things.
Yeah.
Sorry to everybody in Russia. But yeah. So what is Santa Claus called in Russia? And I have ABCs.
Please.
Okay. A, Dead Moros. B, Comrade Claus. Or C, Oleg Statia. I think that's pronounced.
C.
C? Oleg Statia.
Yes.
Is that what you're going with?
Yes.
Unfortunately for you, it is not Oleg Statia.
It's A, isn't it?
It's A, it's Dead Moros. So I searched it, found that, and was like, what can I call the other two? And this was at 4 a.m. And I was like, what's something in Russia? People say Comrade Claus. And then C, Oleg is just a common name in Russia. I googled like common first names Russia, and then Statia is Claus in Russian.
See? There you go. So you tricked me. I knew it was something.
I did.
Not my fault.
A bit more of a fun fact with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Most popular drink in Russia at Christmas time and all the time, I guess, is not vodka, as most people expect. It's tea.
Fuck off.
No joke. Fucking tea. They really like their tea. They have like a special like Russian tea.
No way. Mad.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, for the final one. Here in the UK, Americans and everybody else probably won't know it. Every year on Christmas Day, I think, is it 3? The Queen has a little speech and she talks to the nation. Now, in 2020, obviously it was mid-pandemic, the Queen's speech was sort of hope to the nation. And that, so you would think, more views.
Yeah.
But how many views did it actually get? I have ABCs.
Okay.
It was more than usual, I know that. Is it A, 9.2 million, B, 7.2 million, or C, 8.2 million?
What's the hell? Don't give us much wiggle room, will ya?
It was, the first one, like, I made up one that was like 0.3, and I was like, nah, it should be 0.2 because the real one is 0.2.
Okay.
But they're all 0.2, so you can't go off that.
I'm gonna say 7.2.
7.2?
Yeah.
Final answer? You sure about that?
Yes.
Yeah? I don't know if I would be. I'm trying to help, really.
No, I don't know if you're tricking me or not.
Would I be? Would that be something I would do?
Yes.
Probably. Unfortunately, I was actually trying to help you. It wasn't 7.2 million, and it wasn't 9.2 million. 8.2 million people in the UK tuned in.
I knew it would have been the middle one, but I was like, no, because you said it was more than usual. I thought you were trying to send me lower. So
no, it was actually more than usual. Yeah, I mean, really, you think that's quite a lot of people, but it really isn't.
Well, I was expecting more because isn't there like 67 million people in the UK?
Yeah. Well, I was. You think it's quite a few people, but it really isn't. Because when you look at it, before televisions are a thing, before like Instagram and Twitch and YouTube and whatever, people obviously watch the telly. So you look at it, when you look at old television shows and their viewing, it was so high because there was 3 channels. So it was really interesting to see, when you look at old things, how many views they had. When I was looking at doing the Christmas Day special stuff, like they were at like 24 million.
What?
People, which is still not a lot, really.
Yeah.
That was in, I think, the 90s. But I mean, there would have been a time when half of the nation would have been watching something.
Yeah, I
pretty mad.
The rest of the nation were like hungover or pissed, scrolling Instagram or watching something on Netflix. Like, who watches normal television anymore? And
yeah,
especially after the shit show of a year, I'm not being funny. I don't need the Queen to try and instill some hope, because at the end of the day, she's above the government and they're not doing their jobs. So I just don't think the Queen's what I'm going to be doing on my Christmas Day afternoon. I'm going to be I'm not spending time with my family because COVID's ruined this Christmas too.
I'll throwing some shade.
I can make it more positive. No, so yeah, I don't watch it, and that's why I was thinking the lower one as well, because like you said, people used to just watch it. It was everyone used to do things in unison back in the day, because like you said, there was only 3 channels. Now like there's Disney, Amazon, like Netflix, like people will be watching films and they'll probably forget what time it is, and then they'll watch it on catch up. So if I don't know anyone who actually watches TV at the actual time the TV programs are on anymore.
The only time I've ever done it is when I'm in a Premier Inn, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, because there's nothing else. Like, there's nothing else.
Yeah, it's like, so what do you want to watch? Some documentary about A&E or Family Guy? 24 hours a day.
Yep. 24 hours A&E is the program.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is really mad though. So I've got a bit of a Christmas fun fact about the royal family.
Okay. Yeah.
They do buy each other's presents, which I wasn't sure whether they would. You know, they're all very rich.
Yeah.
But they don't put them under a tree. I guess they're so rich, if they have so many presents, they need like a really, really big tree. And I just don't think they have the space for such a large tree.
Yeah.
So they put them on, and I love this. This is quoted.
Okay.
Trestle tables, not table, tables. How many tables? I'm like
on a table.
Yeah, trestle tables.
But
it's off their website.
But Santa puts them under the tree. So why would Santa put them on the tables?
Because when Santa puts them under the tree, the butler moves it onto the table.
that thank you. That made me happy.
I can do a very good Boris Johnson accent.
Please tell him. Please tell me in his voice that I have to stay at home this Christmas. I can't go and see my boyfriend's family.
Okay. So what do you want? Are we going on the lockdown route or like the limiting house route?
The fact that my boyfriend's got COVID and I'm not allowed to go.
Okay. I have to warm up. Blue. Unfortunately, Cath, you will not be able to go around to your boyfriend's parents' home this Christmas, as it is unsafe with our new Build Back Better scheme. We do not want people catching COVID like your boyfriend who has caught it. We want to keep people safe. We want them to be extremely safe. And that's why we are limiting people to outdoor locations, such as Peppa Pig's World, which is my place in the world.
Mate, thank you. It's been a rough week. I have been sleeping on the sofa because of this, and I now feel 100% better. Can I get a copy of that when you've done it, please?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that was oh, right. Okay. Compose.
I watched the funniest video. So, I'm sure you've seen the clip where he goes, we will be getting new passports, beautiful new blue ones. I'm sure you've seen the clip on the Yours Complete interview thing they did. He said blue again. I saw the clip of it, and he's talking. Someone asked him what shampoo he uses, and he goes, obviously, I do not know what shampoo I use. Obviously, I don't know that. But it is a general cleaning shampoo. And I use it. I don't know brand. I do know it is blue. That was like a pretty much exact quote. Like,
oh my god.
Do you not like remember the bottle?
Also, but it makes you think of the difference between, because he obviously doesn't go to the shop and buy his own, and maybe he doesn't even.
No.
Well, there's two questions here. He doesn't wash his own hair. Does he just not wash it at all, or does someone wash it for him? But how do you not know what shampoo you use? You literally pick it up every day, if not, well, every other day, if not, most days. Like, how do you, because.
Well, I mean, to play devil's advocate, I guess, to be fair, he does have to sort of remember a few other things, with his job.
Mate.
But you'd think you'd remember.
You'd think you would, but also like my brain capacity is full up with McFly lyrics, but I know every word to every song they've ever written, and they've got 5 studio albums. It's really sad, but I still remember what shampoo I buy.
I know what shampoo I get. If I saw the bottle, immediately recognize it.
Yeah.
Cannot think what the brand name is though.
But do you go to the
Apple.
shop and buy it yourself, or does your parents buy it at this point?
Nah, it's on subscribe and save.
Oh, is
So we
it?
set that months ago and it just automatically comes.
Oh, that's mad. Okay.
It's well easy. And you get money knocked off the more you buy it because it's on the like Amazon subscribe and save thing.
Oh, that's good. No,
Should have a look
the reason I know is because I go to the shop and I have to find the same one every time because I like the one I use. So I like, I have to deliberately look for the one I use. But yeah, I forget that people get things delivered these days. So
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Boris just like he's got a really big subscribe and save on his Amazon account.
yeah.
It's things I wonder like with him, like, does he just go on Amazon? Oh, I really need fucking something. And he just goes on Amazon and order it.
I'm pretty sure he's got a man who
He's
just
probably got like
him.
Yeah, he'll have like an assistant, won't he? Or someone.
Yeah.
Butler.
Yeah, I don't think he does any of his own like stuff.
Yeah, a bit of inside information about the prints. I can tell you this.
Oh, yeah.
When we were going in, so we went to the BBC. We got in the van, and then we drove all the way there. Right? They needed an accessible van. There was not a single one for this like bus thing in London. It had to come from like Cornwall way.
What?
There wasn't a single one near. So the guy had driven up, and he just sort of sat there all day.
Oh.
So we got on the bus, and I'm sat at the back, and it was like a 30-minute bus ride, and I spent the whole time talking to the producer Chris, really lovely guy,
Yeah.
and he was a producer, and then had a massive like really awkward conversation with Greg James, who's one of the hosts.
Yeah.
He's sat at the front, I'm sat right at the back, and he just shouts back to me, "Hey Tom, you got any new podcasts?" And I said, yeah, just released one the other day, and we had like a good, I don't know, 5-10 minute conversation, shouting down each ends of the bus, which is really odd. And then we get there and we roll up, and then we go up to the office, and it's up 2 stairs into this little office.
Yeah.
So I just put my chair in front, go in a wheelie, just pulled myself in, and they were like, "Whoa!" And then I got talking to the guy. Oh, we were following COVID rules. So this office, tiny office, just at the side where you check in before you can go in. Probably 20 people in there at least. And on the door, I saw it said, maximum of 2 people in the office at once. And I said this to Chris, and I said, it's great to see we're following COVID guidelines. And he said, it's all right. You're teen heroes. We can blame it on that. And then so we went through, and I noticed if he has a delivery come for the house, it goes in there. So I could see he has like beer and like his orders and stuff. So we could see what wine he had. It was a 2009 wine. And then he had some beer. Crate of wine. It was probably, I don't know, about that big for scale. This is an Aston Spirit. And it was like that big for size.
Yeah.
And then he had like about the same size 2 big boxes full of beer of that size as well. Fucking hell, he's an alcoholic. And then he had like other packages and stuff, and I was trying to see what it was, but we went through. Weirdly, lack security.
Well, I suppose once you're in, like, you're in.
Yeah, and I guess they knew who we were.
Yeah.
And we'd had to go through all the security at the BBC. They had like, when you go to the airport, like full scan you and like put your shit through.
Yeah.
They made us do that as well. So I guess they already sort of knew.
Yeah.
And also there was like 4 guys with massive fuck off guns. Like honestly, humongous guns.
I remember.
So we go in and we do it, and we get in there, and then we sit down. This lovely woman comes and takes our coats, and we sit down. And then before they come, Greg comes in, and then Chris is in there, cameraman, photographer, Vic and Jordan, who were also Radio 1 hosts, you may know.
Yeah.
And me and Vic got talking about Danny McCaskill and Sebastian Keep.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I like just happened to bring up Red Bull,
Oh,
and
wait.
she was like, "Oh, I love those guys." So I said, "Oh yeah, like Danny McCaskill, he's sick." And she was like telling me about one of the videos she'd watched, and then I said, "Oh," and then More Walls just came out recently, and she was like, "Yeah, yeah, I watched the original of that. It's so cool." And she like knew who it was, and I had a Greystone jumper on,
Yeah.
and she like sort of recognized the logo, but she didn't know why, so that was pretty cool. And then we had to do the mock photo, and Greg James was acting as the prince. And he was stood behind me, and he said, "I don't know what to do with my hands." So he just put his hands on my shoulders and said, "I'll do that." And I said, "If you want to take it to the next step, you can do like the Joe Biden hair sniff." Have you seen those clips where he sniffs like young girls' hair?
Yeah.
So, and everybody laughed. And then they go to take the photo, and he goes right next to my head.
Oh, God.
So everybody's laughing. So we sit back down, and then we have cake and drinks and stuff. And we get ready for him to come in. And like, you hear everybody down the hall who are having like a conversation. It goes silent. And we were like, right, he's here.
Yeah.
And then you can hear a bit of conversation, but it's mostly silent.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, I don't think it is him because he's not come yet." "No, I don't think it is." And I was like, I can hear him talking because I have super sensitive hearing.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I recognize his accent. And anyway, he comes up, and on his way past, he goes to the room where our parents are in. And he shouts in and says, "Oh, you're right," and then walks in to them all. And then he sits down. He goes, "Where do you want me to sit?" And they go, "Oh, just sit down here, please." And then he sits down, and then he talks with this girl, and I really wanted to go last. Strategic play.
Yes.
Right? Strategic play, because I want to say, now you've just heard these guys are really cool. I'm not quite as cool as them, because it makes you sound a bit better, doesn't it? You know, we'll keep that quiet. So I was strategic play, wanting to go last, because realistically, I see this as an opportunity. Like, yeah, really cool, get to have a conversation with him.
Oh.
But realistically, this is an opportunity to push WCMX and myself as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go last for that, but they put me in second because everybody was sort of nervous. He'd picked out her to go first.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, who do you want to go second?" And nobody was talking, and everybody else was super nervous.
Yeah.
And so Chris knew I can talk and stuff. So Chris was like, Thomas. I was like, yeah. So I say, "Hi, I'm Tom," and I talk about what we do. And then and then I bring out the chair and I start showing him how it's broken. And he goes, "When you have a problem, what governing body do you go to?" And I said, "Oh, you don't. If you have a problem, you just try and make it work. There isn't a governing body."
Yeah.
And then he says, and how does Sport England help you?" And I said, again, they don't do jack shit.
Yeah.
So we had a long conversation, and he said he's going to talk to Sport England about funding. He's going to talk to the Paralympics, because right now, if I was to go to the Paralympics, would not be able to compete.
Yeah.
They say I'm not disabled enough. Thanks, guys.
What?
Fuck you. Yeah, no, yeah. So I'll talk about this a second. I've spoken to a few people about this. The Paralympics say that EDS means you're not disabled enough. So how EDS works, it means your connective tissues are really stretchy. Yeah. So your joints dislocate and you get lots of pain and things like that. That's why I use my chair. Yeah. But they actually count as an advantage. Because everything's really stretchy, you're bendy. So they're like, you can get more out of a push. So actually it's an advantage. So I would not be able to compete. So I told him about this, and he was like, "No." And then Vic was like, "What?" Because she'd done work with the Paralympics and stuff. And she was like, "Really?" So we were talking about that. So he said he's going to talk to them. So I mean, you can't exactly say no to a prince, can you? So we're hoping that'll go somewhere too. Well, and then
technically, right? I know it's Paralympics. If it's adaptive skateboarding and WCMX, they need to be separate, shall we just say? Because they.
Yeah. Hold on. Right. This really annoys me. I almost said pisses me off there.
Yeah.
So it really annoys me. Did you see Dutor?
Yes, I watched Lily's, and how can you measure?
You didn't watch Lily's. You must have seen highlights. They didn't put Lily live.
Yeah. So I saw like two of the runs. They filled like two of the runs. They did it, but yeah, I was watching it because of Lily's. But yeah, watching the scoring of them, I was like, how do you measure that against that? And I mean, measuring adaptive skateboarding in the first place is hard because like some people have no legs, other people have them, but then have other things. And
then you go to like someone that's deaf, and then that's an entirely different ball game.
Yeah.
And it's like difficult.
But then you can't measure WCMX against it because it's a completely different sport. And also just the way they just in general wasn't great. But again, it's one of the first times they've done it. They need to learn. I'm happy to join the fucking board for WCMX and try and fight the cause, mate. Don't you worry.
I mean, like, there's something wrong when Aaron doesn't go top 2.
Yes.
I mean, Aaron has beat everybody.
Yep.
He's created the sport. He's got like 10 years on everybody. He's fucking mad.
Yep.
He's an amazing guy. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch my podcast with him. Really cool. But how, in what world does he lose to someone? That it can't happen. It's like getting a rollerblader and a BMXer. Oh, do you want to do like? We'll play like a game of, I don't know, pig, whatever you want to call it. We'll do a game of ride. Oh, I'll do a bar spin over that. I don't have bars.
Yeah.
I'll do a crank flip. I don't have pedals.
Yeah.
It's like you just can't put them together, can you?
No.
So yeah, that really annoys me.
Like, yeah,
very off track there.
Different conversation, mate. That's too. I'm still annoyed because obviously I've caught up with Lily since, because she was at the More Walls premiere and we had a talk about it, and it's just not. It's not on. It's just
no. It's just not.
So
going back to the palace.
Yes.
The funniest part of the story, right? So we come out, and I as we're leaving, I got talking to Greg, and I'm asking him. So he does Unpopular Opinion.
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah.
Come and give us your unpopular opinion. Something up to now that you've been scared to say. And then he does tons of other stuff on there. He's amazing. So I asked him, how do you talk to people that give like 2-word answers? Because I've done podcasts that I've had to scrap.
Yeah.
Because I've done this massive long question. I've gone, and I've gone, so what do you think? And then they'll just go, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
And it's like, next question. And it's like, oh, fuck. Well, shit. And then, because you end up doing it, right? So for this, I have like 10, 20 questions probably, like pre-prepared. And then I've come up with a few things as we're going.
Yeah.
And I'd have got through that in 8 minutes. I did one where it was an 8-minute podcast. And I was like, that can't work.
Yeah.
And just to keep that in mind, we're almost at like 2 hours. Like, it's so I was asking him about that. And he was saying, well, he doesn't really have a problem with that. Because obviously he's working with, big actors. They don't really give a shit about talking.
Yeah.
It's sort of their job. So he said, I don't know. And then he gave me some advice and we were talking. And then he asked Chris, the producer. So we were talking. And then on the way out, it's like fucking raining really badly.
Yeah.
So quick thing for somebody that doesn't know, the push rooms on wheelchairs are slippy metal.
Yes.
Which isn't great to grip. And then you add rain in, and then you can't brake. So I'm going down the massive hill. And I'm talking to Greg, and I'm full brake, still going quite fast.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I can't stop. I'm gonna have to go. And he said, "Do you need some help?" And I was like, "No, I should be fine." Because I remembered there's like cobblestone at the bottom. So when my skate wheels hit that, that'll slow me down.
Yeah.
So I get all the way to the bottom. We go out, and then taxis come, and then the head of the BBC, which I didn't realize at the time, the head of the whole BBC was there. I didn't realize that at the time. Was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." They said that you didn't need a taxi, and I was like, oh yeah, no we do. And they were like, oh yeah, well we haven't ordered one. So and then Greg was his taxi had gone to a different entrance, and then Vic was having some problem with her taxi as well. It just didn't like order. And then the other one was going on home on the tube. So we went back up, and they were like, can we go in? And they were like, nah, you could have picked up a bomb while you're out, so no. So we're in the middle of the rain with these guys with massive guns, and we're like, can we like stand under the canopy? And they were like, yeah, but we're gonna have to watch you. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. So we're stood there with these cops like keeping their eyes on us with this massive fucking gun. And I'm like, shit. While we're talking, we're just having a conversation. And then Greg goes off with his he's got like no jacket, he's got no coat or nothing, and he just goes off in his Christmas jumper. And then Vic's there, and then our taxi comes before everybody else's, and ours was ordered last. So we go down the hill. I said goodbye to Vic, and she was lovely. I got her to call my sister, and my sister called me after and said, "You made my life," and I was like, "Oh, great." So I was like, "I'm putting the present back," because she nominated me. So I was like, "Oh, I'll buy a present." So I was like, "Well, if you've made your life, I'll go return that then." So we'd gone, and then we were going past Greg. And it was really funny because Greg was just like, fuck, no. Because that was his taxi, I think, really, in the end. I think that might have been his as well.
No way. Oh.
So everybody was fun, and then we were having a conversation this whole time while we're like literally like pretty much like hugging each other. We were really just cramped in.
Yeah.
While we're talking with the coppers just stood in the rain, who have these massive Like, honestly, humongous fucking guns. So it was very interesting. And I got in the cab, and I think if you go in cabs in London, every so often you have to have a bit of a twat. And this guy definitely was that.
Yeah.
He said that he didn't believe us when we said about Greg, because he asked us about what we were doing at the palace, and he said that he goes, "Not that I don't believe you, but that couldn't happen, because us taxi drivers were really good. So we wouldn't have gone to the wrong entrance." And then I mentioned I saw the Amazon store, you know, like the Amazon little stores, and you go in, you scan your phone, and then you pick up shit and you walk out. Like, it's sick.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, that's cool," to my mum, who was in the cab with me. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been in them, but same with like all self-services. It's just like when you go in, all you can think about is nicking it all." And it's like, do you? Really? And then he was telling us how he hates like this app, and he said, "I was happy picking you up, but I hate doing these, and I hate doing these, but I was happy picking you up, but I hate them." And he's going on like this for like the whole like 20-minute cab ride back to the hotel.
Fun.
And he was like, "But I was happy doing this because it's like near the train station, because that's where we were staying."
Yeah.
In the Premier Inn. So it was just a really awkward time. Really awkward cab drive. But I mean, most of them are lovely, but
yeah. No, you get them, definitely. I've had one where we literally had to shout at him because we thought he was going to kill us.
I know, like, I was talking to Marcus, who I talked about earlier, and he lives in London, and I was saying, like, because I think when he was in Manchester, one of the cab came to pick him up to take him back to the train station or whatever.
Yeah.
And it saw his wheelchair user and drove off. And he's had that happen, like, tons of times, because they just can't be bothered taking the ramp out and shit.
Bullshit.
It's so annoying. But, yeah. I mean, I think on that note, it's been 2 hours. I've had a lovely time catching up.
And you, mate. It's good.
Yeah. So, I get shout yourself out, plug yourself.
Cath Shanks. Follow Shanker Skate School. And that's it. Just I don't know. I'm not as active as I used to be. I like to just spend time with people instead. But.
Yeah, well, as usual, obviously all links to the guests will be in the description, so feel free to go check Cath out. Thank you for coming on. Thank you everybody for watching. Goodbye.
See ya.
Action Sports for All will return in 2022. We are currently looking for more guests. Do you own a business, make a product, or are you an action sports athlete? Please get in touch on the email on screen. I'd love to hear from you and have you come on the podcast. Other than that, if you have enjoyed the episode, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. It really does help out the podcast. Anyway, goodbye.